Hey, what's up guys? I'm Mr. Chris with Infotainment.com. Today I am in the current generation 22 and newer Ford Maverick, and as you can see here, I have an 8-inch screen and a 12-inch screen. This is what the vehicle came with initially, which we swapped out for a 12-inch with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, both wireless. If you want to see how I got this installed, you're going to want to stick around. I'm going to show you how to install it. Alright, so when you're going from Sync 3 to Sync 4, basically all you need is an APIM, replacement APIM. This is a Sync 4 APIM, and our conversion harness. Where we're going to start is behind our climate control bezel. We have to pull this. This is going to give us access to where our APIM is stored. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start at the bottom with my panel tool. And you can sometimes get this with your fingers, but this dash is a little slippery, so there we go. Once you get it started, you just pop it the rest of the way out. This held in with a bunch of clips, and I actually don't even have to remove it. I'm just going to set it right there. So once you have your climate control out of the way, basically you have this foam pad here and a couple of harnesses. This foam pad is held in on the sides here by these clips that are holding these harnesses down. You can go ahead and pop each clip out. It's one of those Christmas tree style clips. Like that there. And you can see it just goes right through this pad here. If you rip it, don't worry about it. It's not extremely important, but we are going to put it back when we're done. Now what we need to do is remove the entire ACM. Our APIM is actually located right above this ACM behind our AC ducts. So we'll go ahead and pop all these connectors out. And now we can pull out the 4 7mm screws. And now we can just pull straight back on our ACM. Kind of got to wiggle it around these harnesses. And we can set this aside. We'll reinstall that after we get our APIM installed. All right, so with our ACM removed, you can see we have 1, 2, and 3 7mm screws. We have to remove those. Our APIM is actually right up top here. And if you notice, I do have a magnet on me. Probably a good idea to have one of these around just in case you drop one of these down here. It can be a little chore to fish them out of there. But because this screw is so deep in there, I do have a long 7mm driver plus extension. We're going to go ahead and pull this center one out first. And that bit is magnetic, which also helps. And for the sides, I am going to use my angle driver, also with a magnetic bit. Alright, so now it gets a little interesting. What we have to do, we'll pop our bracket free. There's some alignment pins that hold that bracket up there. But once it's down, you'll notice that you don't have a lot of slack here with the wires. And all of them are plugged in up top. So basically, your APIM is sitting in this orientation. We're going to have to unplug all the connectors that are on there, and then we can fish that whole bracket and APIM out, get the new one swapped in. So you may not be able to see what I'm doing, but there's a lever connector for that main harness. Sliding that over to release the lock, and that one pulled free. And we have our USB port. So there's a couple lines left on the left side here. All right, we just got this Fakra connection, and we should be free. There we go. All right, we got all our connections removed. We'll go ahead and wiggle this thing out of here. So this giant arm type bracket is kind of what you're fighting with, just working these all the way around the different little plastic brackets that are in your dash. It's really not too bad. The hardest part of it is just knowing how to disconnect your connectors. Once you do it a couple times, you'll be an expert, but basically this one has a little lever on it. So you push the button down in the center, pull that lever to the side, and that'll push this out. You have a clip here that is for your media hub. You just press down and pull straight up. The worst one of the bunch would be this guy right here. This is an LVDS cable. This is going to your screen. There's kind of a hard little push button right in the center, and then you kind of have to work it out evenly. If you just try to pull out from that wire side, it's going to fight you. So you want to pull up evenly and you'll be able to clear that. And this one is kind of similar, but just a push button on the side and this pops up. But now that we have this out, we'll go ahead and get our new one swapped in. We have 1, 2, and 3 Phillips screws, and it'll basically mount and install the exact same as we pulled it out. All right, so we have our Sync 3 APIM and bracket all pulled out. As you can see, the Sync 4 APIM looks a little different, but the mounting points are exactly the same. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the 3 Phillips screws and get this swapped out. All right, with our Sync 4 APIM mounted on our bracket, we can now proceed with the wiring portion of this install. So because this is the 12-inch upgrade, it is going to come with this extra cable. This is going to need to be routed up to your screen location from the APIM. So if you look at the APIM here, you have this blue connector. This would go here, and this one's going to go up to your screen, as well as on the main harness here. For the guys with 8-inch upgrades, they're not going to use this little pigtail, but for the 12-inch we are. It's going to be these 2 ends that need to be routed up to that screen location. So before we go ahead and reinstall this, I'm actually going to pull the screen, run these up there, and then we can move forward with reinstalling our APIM. All right, in order to pull your screen out, you're gonna come right to the top of your screen. You have a little pocket right behind it. This plastic cubby actually pops out of there. So we're gonna grab our panel tool and just work it around until it pops free. And that's just held in with some retaining clips. And that's gonna expose 3 7mm screws. We'll get those pulled out. All right, so now all we have to do is pull to the rear and pop the screen free. And there's a little connector back here that we need to unplug, and we'll set this aside. All right, so we have our harness in hand. I have the pink end and this black end here. And basically straight up, kind of in between these vents, is an opening that reaches your screen cavity. This wire right here, we're not going to use anymore. I'll just kind of tuck that aside. But for these, I will just feed right up here. There's the one. And it doesn't need a ton of slack, but I will leave a little bit. And just so this doesn't fall back down as I'm doing the install, I'm going to tuck this in the side here. All right, and now we can move forward with the APIM reinstallation. Basically, just like your original connector, you're going to grab this main harness here, and you're going to plug this into your original wiring with that little lever, just like you did with the APIM. Then once that's up there, this is going to give you a bunch more length to plug in your APIM, so you're not so much fighting with the slack that you have in this vehicle. Let's go ahead and plug this in real quick. All right, with that plugged in, now we can go ahead and reinstall our APIM and we'll get everything else plugged back in. And when you're going to reinstall the connectors, that whole bracket, even though it's long and kind of cumbersome, will sit aiming forward with those legs on there. So you can see the face of your APIM while you're plugging it back in. And you can kind of work all the connectors in while you're supporting it from the bottom and kind of sliding it up. So I'll do that now so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Then we can swing the APIM bracket back up and into place. And you may have to kind of smush that wire up out of the way a little bit just to give yourself a little bit more clearance, but you should be able to kind of work it back into place here. There are a couple of little hanging points that you can hang these tabs here. One on both sides. As you can see, when it lines up, it kind of just sits in there. And there's one at the front here. It'll make it a lot easier to put the 3 7mm screws back in. Go ahead and hand tighten those. All right, now we're ready to reinstall our ACM. All right, now we can go ahead and plug in our ACM. All right, and don't forget to put your little foam pad back in. I'll feed that up and then just line up the holes on the side and you can clip your wires back into place. All right, that's pretty much it. We'll snap this back into place. Okay, so we have everything buttoned up on the bottom side of our dash. Now we're ready for our new screen. And basically, just gonna match the connectors and get those plugged in. And we'll tuck the excess wire out of the way and get our screen set into place. And once it's lined up, this will snap in just like the OEM screen did. And now all we have to do is reinstall the 3 7mm screws on the backside. All right, we're all nice and tight in here. We can go ahead and reinstall our pocket. All right, now we're ready to test it out. Right away, you can see the massive display size really changes the interior of this vehicle. All right, so we're all booted up here. As you can see, we do have embedded navigation just like we do on our 8-inch Sync 4 upgrade. So you are gonna get that new user interface and enhanced GPS maps that Sync 4 does offer over the previous generation. Now I did pair my Android Auto and Apple iPhone to the Sync 4 module, so we can go ahead and give that a try here. You can see you have a very large display with all of your favorite apps right at your fingertips. This is the Android Auto version. Let's go ahead and try out the Apple CarPlay version. All right, and you can see we have everything you're used to with your Apple CarPlay. The nice thing about Sync 4 with Nav is it's completely wireless for your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Plus you have the embedded navigation, so you don't have to rely on the navigation built into your phone. All right, let's go ahead and try out the rear view camera. As you can see, you have a massive 12-inch display now. So you can see everything behind you perfectly clear, much improved from the 8-inch screen that the vehicle originally came with.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that upgrade just as much as we enjoyed developing it. We were here established in 2008, and we've been helping over 100,000 customers do upgrades to their vehicle. So we carry this upgrade and so much more on our website, Infotainment.com. We service what we sell. We have a whole staff that services parts all day long. We also have in-house advisors that can advise you and help you from start to finish. We also have a compatibility guarantee. As I mentioned in the video, we will get your 17-digit VIN number to ensure that everything is programmed to the modules for a seamless installation in your exact vehicle. We also have extended warranties for those of you who would like to take advantage of that. Those of you who pulled out your old gear and you don't want it just to sit in your garage forever, we actually offer trade-in value to your old gear. So be sure to go to our website for more information on that. Last but not least, if you have a request for your vehicle, you want a factory OEM upgrade for your vehicle and you don't see it on our website, we have a product request form that our research and development department looks at every single day. So request that product and we'll get back with you with a possible solution. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and have a great day.